Hello, welcome. Welcome, gorgeous beings of light. This is Elmara coming to you today with your Christmas miracle. So, before we begin, let's connect into our awareness. Taking a couple of big belly breaths in. Bring your awareness back within you. Especially at this crazy time of year. Return to the love and joy and bliss within you. Connecting to the sun and the earth and your own divine heart. Before tossing your body out the window, see if you can sense you're getting lighter. Then your identity out the window, along with all kids, cats, dogs, pets, family, all out the window, just for now. Just put it aside so you can feel who you truly are. Breathe. Then all opinions, feelings and emotions, pop them all out the window too, or in another room. Then take your conscious mind, your unconscious mind, your subconscious mind, and all of your thoughts and place them outside the window or in another room too. And if you have no clue what I'm talking about, please go back and listen to our very first Effortless Manifesting and Awareness Activation that we did a couple of weeks ago. It's the first one with the lovely gold picture. And breathe. If you're releasing, you breathe out through your mouth, but otherwise, you can return your breath to in through the nose, hold it for as long as it's comfortable, and then out through the nose while I share with you this super, super huge Christmas miracle that happened in Christmas 2019. I was wanting to find a short miracle because I know you're all busy at Christmas. But this is the one Source kept insisting that I share with you, and it's not short. So just keep breathing through it because it's going to show you the power that exists within you and within all of us if we would just stop playing in the poo and listening to the news. They almost rhyme. So on the 10th of December 2019, I was in Tilba and due in Milton, which is up round Ulladulla on the spectacular south coast of New South Wales, by the 16th. But there was fires all around. Some of you may recall the horrendous fires that took out millions of acres and billions of our wildlife back in 2019, 2020, and it was right there on the south coast of New South Wales. I was right in the middle of it. But the highway was closed from fire, and the only way to get there was to take this trip by going backwards, then up through the mountains, across to Canberra, and then back down from Canberra through Nowra, and then into Milton, Ulladulla way, causing it to be like a 600-kilometre trip like 10 hours to get there instead of just like an hour and a half up the highway. And of course, a fire could have broken out at any time in that area, which it did at some point later on. And then I just said to Source, "You sure you want me to go into a fire zone?" And they said yes. And I said, "Well, open the bloody highway for me because I'm not driving 8 hours to get there." Breathe. Yes, I do speak to Source like that. And yes, I can tell you that Source isn't judgmental because I've never ever said no, especially when I'm frustrated and can't find a car park and demand one as well. So God is not judgmental. Human beings are. They do a great job of that. Breathe. So, lo and behold, 2 days before I'm due up in Milton, they opened the highway. I drive up the highway on the 16th. I may have arrived a day early. I remember the lovely Lady Trish cooking me dinner, which was really beautiful, leaving me some Christmas presents. It's really one of the loveliest sits I've done. And at the time I was house sitting around because someone had threatened to kill me. So that was the reason I was moving around a lot so I couldn't be found. Eventually they locked him up in a mental home and I was a bit safer, but prior to that, that's what was happening. And the lady leaves the next day and drives up the highway to Sydney to catch a plane to go to Tasmania to visit family for Christmas, and I was in charge of looking after her little dog. The day after she gets on a bus to Sydney to go on holidays, they close the highway going north. And they also closed, they'd already closed, the day after I arrived, they closed the highway going south as well. So there I was in this small community above about 6,000 people. So it included Ulladulla, South Ulladulla, Mollymook, Narrawally, Milton, and some other little places around there. But basically, and I was on the outskirts of town, and there was a fire about 1 kilometre from where I was, and I was on the very outskirts of that town or that community of 6,000 people. The fires got much worse, much, much worse. People were terrified. All the old people that lived on the street that I was in would have a meeting on the street around 10 o'clock. The negative energy coming from them was horrendous. And I became really intensely aware that I had gone there to save that community. And you're all going to go, "Oh, that's really big-headed of you," but let me finish before you make judgments, please. Because I sat and I meditated for 8 hours a day for 6 weeks because the highway was blocked to the north, the highway was blocked to the south, and the fire was 1 kilometre west. There was nowhere to go to get out of there. The only place people could go was into the ocean, which another community, Malakuta, actually had to do that. There was no way out of where they were, and the only way was into the ocean. But the problem with that also, because it was a bigger community, 6,000 people, a lot of people had taken their second car down to the beach in the hopes that they might be able to save one of them if the fire came, which the charming news predicted on a daily basis that everybody was going to go up in smoke. And so therefore, if some tragedy had happened, everybody wouldn't have been able to get to the ocean or close enough to it anyway. So I understood it was my job then to sit there and dissolve negative thoughts and energy. Even my friends that I knew to be spiritual, except for one beautiful lady that lived down in Paradise Point, or even all my spiritual friends that I knew, were panicking and jumping on board with the fear. Because the power went out for a couple of days, there was no petrol, so people queued for 2 days for 2 hours for petrol. And this is what I mean by living in the world but not of it. Had no petrol left, and I don't know why people were so worried, because they couldn't go anywhere because the highway was shut either direction, you know. So, but people just bought into the fear, including my deeply spiritual friends. When I needed petrol, I went down, and Spirit had told me to go right, but I just kind of decided to go left. As soon as I went left, the cars were just banked up for a couple of kilometres, so I did a U-turn and headed back down towards right, pulled into a service station, and there was 2 cars in front of me. I didn't wait 2 hours for petrol. When the power came back on, that's what everybody did, race to petrol stations to get petrol. But before that, I was meditating 8 hours a day and just dissolving negativity. I could tell, I'd get up in the morning, you could tell all this fear had come in from people every night. I would sit there, I meditated and asked and prayed for Source to dissolve the negativity, because I knew that if I didn't do that, for sure they were going to lose a lot of lives, lots and lots of lives. As it turned out, with all of those fires over 6 weeks, I think we lost less than 20 people. But if that fire had come 1 kilometre towards where we were, then they would have lost thousands of lives in that community, because there was nowhere to go. There was nowhere to go except into the ocean, and most people couldn't get to the ocean because of all the cars parked down on the foreshore. So every day, as I said, I got up. And some days the fire was worse than others. But every day there was still a meeting of the old people that were all talking about, oh, we'll just go down with the ship, we're not evacuating, blah, blah, blah. It was terribly hot. The smoke, you could just look out. I had pictures that were just brown. Everything was just brown for days and days on end. I did all the usual things that people were told to do. So there was a great big planter with water lilies in it. I filled that up. I filled the bathtub up. I filled everything up because it had a wooden veranda, the house I was in. I think from memory it was wooden as well, but it definitely had a wooden deck all around it, or at the side of it and at the back of it. So, and you know, fires could start so easily when it's that hot from ember strikes, etc. So I did the things that was asked of me. Was evacuated several times, and just grabbed the little dog and took off out of there. And there was this particular time, so the fires were really bad just around Christmas, and then they were really bad again just around New Year, and then there was just this constant threat. And there was just this one time that I was ordered to evacuate, so I grabbed Chloe, the little dog I was looking after, and took off down to the beach and began to pray. And I had been praying all day to stop the fire because the winds had come up. But it was just, the wind at this point was just howling. You could hear it howling. And I sent out, this is the power of prayer. That's why I'm sharing this with you. I sent out, at the time I could only send 20 text messages. So I sent 20, and then I sent another 20 to everybody saying if they were free, if they could just pray for the wind to stop. Now, I had done this earlier. I asked for it was coming at us, the fire was coming at us, and I prayed for it to change direction and go down the hill. Well, it did go down the hill, but it took out 13 houses down the hill. I went, oh, that didn't work. But at least nobody was killed. If it had come up as how it was coming at us was where all the oldies were like, we're not leaving, you know. So the next time we've got the fire coming at us, I'm praying just for the wind to stop, just for the wind to stop. I send out 40 text messages to people asking them to pray. And within about 30 seconds of that last text message going out, the wind just stopped. And even the people I spoke to about it afterwards, they were like, yeah, you were right, Elle. It was just howling, and then it just stopped. Because it was the only miracle that was going to save them. Take a big breath in for me. If you don't believe me, you can just go and check some of those stories out with the Weather Bureau if you want to go back to December 2019 and January 2020. The media was also saying, oh, the rains are not going to come up to February and, hamming it up. And I just kept saying, God, I'm weary. I don't think I'm going to make it to the 20th. I was there till the 27th anyway. And I was due to only be there for 3 weeks. But the other chappie who was coming to take over from me couldn't get in because the highway was blocked. So I ended up staying there for the full 6 weeks. The lady was away. Oh, God. Smell of rain. It's just beautiful. Oh, sorry. That or there's an angel just popped in. It's very beautiful. Got 2 smells happening. Sorry. Just gorgeous. Anyway, so in the second time where the wind just stopped, it just stopped. And nobody was hurt. And I asked Source to have the rain come, and it did. It came around the 20th where I was, but these fires went for hundreds of kilometres, like from where we were 5 hours down to the border and then across the border into Victoria for another 4 hours after that. So there was like this 10-hour strip that was just on fire. Celeste Barber did some great marketing to raise money for the people, not that any of it got to the people as usual. Just went to the New South Wales Fire Brigade. But anyway, it took out millions of acres of land and took out billions of our wildlife. And yet, that's the power that exists in you. I really want to tell the story about how I sent out the 20 text message to people all over Australia, people I knew who were just slightly aware, knew that I was into loopy stuff, so they could just say a prayer for the wind to stop, and it stopped. And the fire stopped raging at the people. Prayed for it to rain, and it rained by the 20th and not the 2nd or the 5th of February, which is what they were predicting. This is the power that exists within you. And imagine if every light worker, every empath, every healer, every starseed, every shaman stopped pussyfooting around and owned this power and woke it up inside of them, and you find it in that awareness. Underneath the 1%, physical being that we're all so focused on is this magnificent, endless, infinite, eternal, rich, abundant, gorgeous, gorgeous, sexy, radiant, beautiful, powerful, beyond measure self. That's 99% untapped, pure potential, pure God source. And you just need to focus on that every day. Now, we're starting to have some people have some extraordinary miracles. But the thing is, if you listen to this once, and then don't listen for 5 days, and it's like or 10 days, it's like going back to the start. 2 things happen when you listen daily and give yourself just 22 minutes every day to connect to your soul. 1, you're sending a message out to the universe that says I'm worth it. But 2, each day builds on the other and on the other and on the other. And I'm getting wonderful reports back of wonderful things, money being manifested. Someone even was going to Las Vegas to get married, and there was just, stuff. Going to have to pay $75 to book the dog into a motel and pay for this and Christmas time, and they wouldn't get a booking and all that. And I said, no, you will have all that happen if you focus on that. So just drop all that crap and just go, we're going to get the perfect motel that is going to care for ourselves and our dog when we're not there. It's not going to cost us an arm and a leg. And, and we're going to get married on Christmas Day. And that's exactly what's all booked in now. Just keep doing the work daily. Just listen to something daily, whether you listen to mine or whether you connect into your awareness. But stop spending your energy on fixing yourself, because you are not broken. You do not need fixing. You just need to remember the magnificence of who you truly are. And that is my gift and my blessing and my wish for you all in 2023. So I trust you're having a fabulous, fabulous Christmas day with your family, eating lots of yummy food, sharing lots of love, sending love to all the people that are getting up your nose rather than fighting with them. Just breathe now. Breathe into that magnificence that is there. Body out the window, identity out the window, opinions, feelings, emotions out the window, conscious mind, subconscious mind, unconscious mind and thoughts all out the window, and just breathe. And make a commitment to give yourself 22 minutes every day to connect to this light within you and see what shows up in 2023 for you. It's up to you now. You are manifesting what you think. And if you're going, I've got no money or I'm unwell, that's exactly what you're manifesting. And you can change that in a split second. Just breathe. Breathe into all of that light and let it wake up in your 100 trillion cells and your 100 trillion telomeres. Become the most magnificent version of you that is already existing. You don't have to do another course. You don't have to do anything. You just need to tap into the magnificence of who you truly are. Breathe in through the nose, out through the nose. When you breathe out through your nose, you're integrating it into your cells. If you breathe out through your mouth, you're releasing whatever is coming up for you, and that is out of alignment with that divine source being of light you are. So I'm truly praying and sending many blessings for the most beautiful Christmas and 2023 you've ever experienced. 2023. May it be the bestest year of your life, full of bright blessings and love and joy and abundance, and you can make that so. Alrighty, love, love, love. My deepest love and richest blessings to you all. Bye for now.